Yeah, so this is going to be a series called "The Songs That Built Me," and for me, it kind of started around this Miranda Lambert song. It's a song called "The House That Built Me," and it talks a lot about memories in a place where you grew up. And I've always taken it as, whenever I hear the chorus, she sings of, if I could just come in, I swear I'd leave. Won't take nothing but a memory from the songs that built me, or from the house that built me. And I've changed it into, from the songs that built me. I think we attach a lot of meaning, and I know I specifically had a lot of memories, kind of sorted around songs at various points in my life. So yeah, I would just love to hear, Nico, a couple songs that you kind of have memories attached to and what they mean to you, and yeah,
That's great. Yeah, I love this idea, by the way. I think
thanks.
it's really cool because, there's maybe like, oh, my favorite song, or this song was so influential, but then there's like these songs that you don't even fully understand why it's so impactful to you, and like it sticks with you and it has such a special place in your heart. So I love this idea that you have, and I'm stoked that we get to chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So when you invited me to have this conversation, the first song in the camp, I'm just going to share that one first. I
Yeah,
think like it goes back to when I was in the fifth grade. This is why this song is so influential. Before I played any instruments, no singing, no musical experience whatsoever, just a kid that liked to
yeah,
play football on the street, you know.
yeah.
And so my elementary school best friends and I, in fifth grade, decided that we were gonna sing in the talent show. And we have no talent. None of us have any musical
Right.
backgrounds. There's just a song that we all loved that we thought it would be cool to sing together.
hmm
And this song was Casey and JoJo, All My Life. You know,
Oh yeah,
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 all my life, I pray
yeah,
for someone. And so,
yeah,
dude, we were just in love with this song. So it was Melvin Fleming, it was DeAndre Owens and Ben Laylaw and myself. These and we would get together at our houses and we would just like play the song, the tape. We had it on tape. We just play it over and over and sing it together. Dude, we didn't know anything about like harmony or anything. I'm sure we're all just singing the same thing. And we thought it was so cool. And I remember we would like practice on Friends at school before the talent show, you know,
right.
just like we and I remember we'd get so into it and we would like, snap our fingers on my life. And we started like singing it a cappella and stuff.
Yeah,
And there's no way we sound good. I think that's for certain. There's no way we were good. But I don't know what it was about that song, but we all were super in love with it. I think just that heartfelt, you're kids. I don't know, that beautiful, heartfelt music with it led by the piano.
yeah, yeah.
And on the at the talent show, we were so nervous, and again, we must have sounded terrible. Like one microphone with the four of us,
For everybody,
just
just
like
kind
in
of
front
huddled
of us.
around it.
And I think we were kind of like, I remember I was trying to do the snaps, but then I looked over and everyone's just kind of like standing there like rigid.
Right.
And somehow, and I think this is a testament to just how good this song is and how
Yeah.
popular it was at that time in our lives. This is, if I'm in the fifth grade, I think that song came out in like 98. And I think that must have been 99. So the song is still relatively new.
Yeah.
It was a hit. It was like a number one hit,
Yep.
And we got third place in this
Amazing.
talent show. And not because of talent. I swear it's because that song is so good.
Right.
I think
Everybody
we
loved
just,
all my
yeah.
life.
And when I hear that
So,
song, I'm just like flooded with memories. And
mm,
I think that it had a lasting impact on, even though I didn't play any music, I think it was planting seeds of like how impactful the piano can be, you
mm,
know? And
yeah.
of course just like soul music, soul and R&B was so special to me, especially at that age. That like that 90s R&B, like it killed me. I
Yeah.
would I had like a little boombox and I would do like literally put it right to my ear at night and like just like blast R&B love
Right.
songs, you know?
Yeah, I think as like a kids who kind of grew up in that era where you had to have like these like CD players, right? You went through these eras where you were just like so attached to it, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
took it, I remember carrying one to a friend's house. He lived down the street and he didn't have one, so and he's like he's got a
Mm,
bunch of good CDs, and
yeah.
his parents weren't letting him out, so I'm like I'll just bring my
Yes.
boombox to your place, and like we just play
100%.
music at his house. I'm
Yeah.
just like those memories. Yeah, I have talent show memories just the same too. Me and my senior year of high school, me and one of my best friends did. We weren't trying to be good singers by any stretch of the imagination, but we did Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, that was we I think we got like I don't think we placed honestly, but it was just fun to get up there and kind of sing Amish Paradise in front of the entire school.
That's so funny. And were you guys,
Yeah.
did you have the backing track behind it?
Yeah, we had the backing
Yeah, yeah.
track, we had everything. We even dressed up as like Amish guys, and because there's like a fairly
No.
large like Amish
Oh,
population
right,
like
right,
in
because you're in
areas nearby.
Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So there's like a fairly large Amish population nearby. So I
Right.
think kind of added with that, we went for it, to say the
Oh, that's
least.
so funny. That's so
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, for me, this was Sacramento, California, very urban elementary school, very like diverse school, and it was
right.
it was the song.
Yeah,
But
amazing.
Amish Paradise, I think, would have got us first place if we had
Right,
committed to
yeah,
that.
yeah. Definitely not nearly as as well sung as All My Life, but it's still hits for sure.
That's so
What about like a second song?
okay.
What's
Yeah.
another memory you kind of have attached to a
Another
piece of
huge
music?
one that came up when I was thinking about near and dear is, I started to learn piano when I was a senior in high school. So like just before going to college, I think it was like the spring before going to college. I had a rugby injury where I dislocated my shoulder, and so I couldn't like do any sports or athletics. And I started to tinker around on the piano. I could kind of keep my arms to my side and do that. And my buddy showed me the chords to Let It Be by the Beatles.
Mm,
And dude, that song just like lit a fire in me. And I would just play these simple chords all the time. And it was kind of like my vehicle to realizing like, oh, I like playing piano and I like to sing. I didn't like ever have confidence as a singer.
yeah,
Playing that song kind of over and over again kind of connected the dots for me in a way that I hadn't done yet.
yeah. That's that. Go ahead.
Oh, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's like it's funny how those little types of things will set that kind of fire off. I remember, especially attached to Let It Be, like I found my dad was a big Beatles fan, but we never really played it around the house. He would just kind of always talk about how much he loved them, and then I found them on
Yeah,
my own when I was able to like pirate music off the internet. I downloaded
yeah,
like their entire discography and listened to it, and Let It Be was like one that I really loved. And then when that you remember that Across the Universe like musical that
yeah,
came out,
yeah,
I
yeah.
always
When we were
remember.
like in college or so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was like the tail end of my high school experience,
Okay.
but it was
Yeah.
like Let It Be was attached to this really like powerful scene in that
Yeah. That,
show, and
that
like
little
I
boy had that
yeah.
beautiful voice. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so Let It Be in that sense, like I felt the power of music through that, and it is funny how just those little pieces of songs or little pieces of uh, the instrumentation of it will like stick with you through and through and through and through, and it's crazy how it's inspired you to like to pursue it, and look where
Right.
you're able to have pretty successful kind of spot off of it.
Crazy. Yeah. And my relationship with the Beatles is really interesting because when I was a kid, I had no interest in them. Like I think it was because I knew how iconic and famous they were. I think I naturally was like, oh, I don't like the Beatles because I don't know what the hell. I don't know
Right.
why I thought that. I didn't even know their music really, you know?
Yeah.
And then I remember one time I was at a Japanese restaurant with my mom, and the Beatles were playing. It was just like going through that. It was going through that Beatles one album, just like going through their greatest hits.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember hearing a song and thinking it sounded cool. And I was like, Mom, like, do you know who is this? She's like, oh, this is the Beatles. And I remember saying, I don't like the Beatles. And she was like, that's, I'm like, I was like the beginning of high school, I wasn't that young.
Yeah, yeah,
And she was like, I think you would really like them. I honestly think you should give them a chance. And so she had the Beatles one. She had that same CD. She gave it to me. And then they became my favorite band.
yeah.
Like
I think
obsessively listened.
I think like at that age, like we all kind of go through this like phase of whatever's popular, you're just trying to like not be about that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But-
exactly.
So growing up, like it was like classic rock was like where I lived. You were like inundated with classic rock. So I was
Yes.
just like, I don't want to listen to any of this. Like I
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
everybody's listening to it. I don't want any parts of this. Like let me go
exactly.
over here. So I think we all go
Yeah,
through that phase of like, yeah, well, mom and dad like it. No,
yeah.
I'm all
Can't
set.
be cool.
I'll
Yeah.
find my own way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some
Uh,
things are famous for a reason. Like some things are hyped, but some things like the Beatles are that good. They're worth every bit of credit. Yeah, and then I became like a
so
freaking Beatles scholar.
yeah,
So
that's so
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
Um, what about do you have any others here? I mean, these are aimed to be like 15-ish minutes. You got a quick one
Okay,
for us
cool.
in terms of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
songs that kind of stick in your memory space?
Totally. Yeah. Oh, um, yeah, I think at the kind of same time period of learning Let It Be and singing that, I was listening to a ton of John Legend and Anthony Hamilton. They're both like soul singers, and this would have
Yeah,
been like 2006, 2007. I was really obsessed with their early albums, listening all the time. And so I remember when I started to play piano, I really wanted to learn a John Legend song because
yeah,
I loved singing his songs. And so I mean, pretty much any song from those early albums. Like I think that album's called Get Lifted, and the one that was really famous was Ordinary People. We're just
yeah,
ordinary people, and it was the first song that I learned after Let It Be. And it was the first song that had like kind of colorful chords, and it was hard. And I remember I liked it so much that I was willing to kind of struggle through these piano parts, and I just, it's funny because like I don't think people listen to Proxima Parada music and they're like, oh yeah, they're definitely influenced by John Legend and Anthony Hamilton. But it was like what I was listening to on repeat all the time as I started to like sing. And so I
yeah.
think they forever have an influence on me. Um,
Yeah, I think like when you listen to the band, like the soul influence comes through like immediately. Like you guys like there's definitely a soulful sound to the music you guys make. So hearing that, all my life and even
yeah,
Let It Be and John Legend, that makes total sense to the space that
cool.
you're in now. And yeah,
That's
like it
awesome.
makes so much sense. Yeah. Uh I guess too, like it's did you grow up in a space where was your mom and dad listening to a lot of soul music as well?
Yeah, my dad was always listening to like the R&B old school station, like a lot of like 70s and 80s R&B type stuff. And then same with my mom. She was really into like old school soul, but my mom also listened to like music from all around the world, and that
Yeah.
had an impact on me too. She would put on the strangest stuff that when I was really young I thought was super lame, but now I'm like, wow, it's cool you're introducing me to like Bulgarian folk music or something. You know, she just had
Amazing.
a really eclectic taste, and my mom is
Yeah.
a singer, and
Hmm.
she was always the one that I saw as like the musical one in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking time to be. This will be one of the first ones that come out, so I hope everybody
care.
enjoys the songs that built me and the songs that built Nico of Proxima Parada. And yeah, I appreciate you taking time, man.